Welcome to the Cornbread and Kool-Aid podcast for fans of Detroit Lions football, Detroit sports in general. My name is Demetrius. It's late. I'm not going to do this for long. No. So week 3 of the NFL season, we always acknowledge the godfather of the podcast, the super producer extraordinaire, Mr. Mike Ward. It is, again, like I said, very late on a Monday night, but week 3 of the 2025 season, the Lions travel to Baltimore and get what I immediately felt compelled to call a statement win. What does that mean? It means that Baltimore is a good football team. Somebody is going to try and tell you somewhere that they're not. What up, bro? Terrence, stand up with me. Love it. I didn't expect that many people to stay up this late, but if you know me, you know the job will be there. I'll go to work tomorrow. But it's late and I'm tired. And but that game was too good. That was a really good football game. Congratulations to Monday Night Football, or not even congratulations. You're welcome on behalf of the Detroit Lions, because we just gave y'all another one, because that's what we do. We get on prime time and we give y'all ratings. That's what we do, right? But the super producer extraordinaire, Mike Ward, we always acknowledge him first and foremost whenever we do this podcast. So this won't be long. I'm gonna go over my thoughts of the game, some of the text I explained with my bros. Absolutely great defense. I think that a couple of things happened. So we heard they got a tough schedule, right? They got a tough schedule. I heard that, right? And I thought, okay, good teams. You should have a tough schedule. I get it, right? Oh, Mr. Wright's in the house. All right. So I got the people that matter are in now. So they stayed up for me. So I'm doing this. So we heard they had, the schedule is going to be tough. I said in the preseason podcast, they could have a different record and be a better team. I don't generally do the up and down thing. I'm going to admit right up front, I am pretty damn hyped after this game. I am optimistic in general. My nature is that of an optimist. The title of the podcast is Cornbread and Kool-Aid because I drink silver Kool-Aid every day and I eat blue cornbread. That's what the title is. For those of you who are new and never listen, that's the point. When your team wins a game like this, the whole point is, okay, you're supposed to take a breath. And I don't do that. That was a really good football game. I don't care what side you're on. That was a good football game. But there wasn't really a point that I felt like we weren't better. There were points where Art and I were trading texts, and we were probably worried, could we stop them? Right? And Art did not text me that we should fire Shep. So that's good news. Inside joke. So, all right, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the game, and then I'll take a couple of questions, 2 or 3 questions, whatever we can get. This late, it's going to be a light group, but we'll see what we can get. So there was a couple of things. First of all, my brother Kenny is probably not on. It's pretty late. Kenny's probably in bed. But when he sees this, I will fess up, despite the win, and I'm very happy. And I think Art and I are on the same page. Terrion Arnold. This is the only negative thing I'm probably going to say the whole podcast. We gotta do something about TA. I don't know what the answer is. If they look at the film and it's scheming, I don't know. I'm starting to worry about Terrion Arnold, and that's the only negative thing I'm gonna say. Well, okay, one more thing. Here's the thing, y'all. We scored 38 points. Won the game handily. That late touchdown means nothing to me. And we still left points out there. We could have put up another 50 burger. We left points out there. We left points out there, I think, after the fumble with the missed field goal. We left points out there in the first half. Our offense, I got a friend, Bill Carroll. He's got a term, and I actually texted him a little while ago. He uses a term called an unstoppable killing machine I don't know if it's his or he stole it. The Detroit Lions offense, I don't know how you stop them. I don't know how. And this is one of those podcasts. I'm just going to be all over. There's no structure. It's too damn late. I ain't got no structure. I don't know. Oh, good point. So yeah, Art just brought up one more thing. We still can't defend tight ends. That's been a thing for years. Andrews did way more than he should have. But I don't know if that's not scheme, though, Art. I think the idea is a team that talented, you pick your poison. What you say is, we're not going to let Lamar beat us, and we're going to do our best not to let Derrick Henry beat us. And what happened tonight was I saw a defense early that was getting after it, but they wasn't getting home. They weren't getting home. And then they started getting home. And when that happens, you're disruptive and you move Lamar off his spots and you have them questioning themselves because everybody on the 4-letter picked them to win, right? Nobody had us sacking Lamar 7 times. I didn't think we could sack Lamar 7 times. So as far as the game goes, there's some concerns about defending tight ends. Art's got a good point. That's still a thing. Terry and Arnold, man, I'm patient, bro. And Kenny's been trying to get you out of the lineup for a year. I am trying to support you. Yeah, the run game. I'm going to get to that, Bear. I promise you, bro. So just quick the game. So I thought there were some up and down moments. I think the obvious, I was worried early. I think we dropped an interception. Had me worried because what I notice is I don't even think this was our best game. I don't even know if we played a fully clean game last week when we put the 50 burger on the Bears. They're still, it's weird to say because right now they might be playing the best football in the league. The Eagles scrape by on a weird play. I don't trust the Colts. I don't trust the 49ers. I don't remember the other 3-0 teams, but I don't trust any of them as much as I trust the team I just watched. If that's our defense, if that's really the Detroit Lions defense, when we get after quarterbacks like that, forcing fumbles, our best player showed up. He's fully healthy. I don't care how many sacks he gets. Aiden Hutchinson is a problem every play because you got to double him, and sometimes that does. He's just a problem. If that's the defense, first of all, big ups to Shep. Shep called a great game. So all of that being said, we heard they had the tough schedule. How are they going to? Okay, so after Green Bay, they weren't supposed to win this game. Now, Joe Burrow is out in Cincinnati. That game doesn't worry me that much anymore. The next big game is probably Philly. Now, just go. Cleveland's coming in. Do what you're supposed to do. Win at home against a not very good team. Not saying Cleveland bums. I'm saying we have a machine on offense, and as good as their defense is, okay, okay, we'll be there. We'll show up. So the schedule, okay, that was a thing. Then I heard their offense isn't going to be good without Ben Johnson. Jared Goff's not good without Ben Johnson. Okay, I think we can stop talking about that at this point. I hope we can stop. I hope that's done, right? That's got to be done. I could do a thing on Jared Goff, but I'm not because Art and Bear both heard it many, many times. It's jerseys behind me for a reason. Y'all know how I feel about our quarterback, and he just gets it done. Is he perfect? No, but they'll play 18 games. They'll play 20 games, maybe, but they'll play 17 regular season games and at least one playoff game. Goff is going to have 14 or 15 really good games. He made throws tonight that were Stafford-like throws. The touchdown to St. Brown was ridiculous. The 4th down play. These are great throws. Now, Kenny will chime in if he was still awake and say he should have ran for that 1st down. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But he had a dude open and he thought he could, So we don't miss Ben Johnson. I don't want to hear that shit anymore. And what was the third thing? No pass rusher opposite Aiden. Those are the 3 big things we heard all off season. Brad Holmes is negligent at his job because they didn't get a pass rusher. I'm not telling you Al-Qadim Muhammad is going to go to the Pro Bowl or nothing. I am telling you that what they have is a scheme and a set of dudes. And this is even though the most predictable thing in the history of the world happened, which was Marcus Davenport got hurt. Al-Qadim Muhammad might be the answer. But it is scheme. It is scheme up where Trevor Nowatzki gets a sack. I think Anzalone might have got a sack. I think what you do is Hutch wreaks havoc and other guys have to step up. Now I'm 100% certain Al-Qadim Muhammad got a game ball today. He better. I don't know for sure, but he should have. Um, so the three things that all offseason, all we heard about, schedule's tougher, gonna miss Ben Johnson, no pass rusher opposite Hutch. 3 weeks in, I don't give a damn about any of those things anymore. I'm not worried about the schedule. I told my friend Jake at work today, I said, Jake, I think that good teams can beat anybody anywhere. And I think that the Lions offense is so talented. They're going to lose games, by the way. I'm not saying they're not. I don't think they're going to lose that many. but they got to go to Kansas City. They got to go to Philly. They got to go to Cincinnati. Those are tough games. Green Bay's coming on Thanksgiving. Thank you, Art. Apparently, Al-Qadim Muhammad did get a game ball. I was just working under an assumption. He impacted the game. He made plays. I think he had 2 sacks, maybe 2.5. And that's what game balls are for. And I'm happy for that kid. He bounced around a little bit, and the Lions took a chance with him. And I like him. I think he might be your answer. Let's hope guys stay healthy. I don't remember any significant injuries coming out of the game. I don't remember seeing anybody get tossed and get carted off or anything, or even leave hurt. So that was good. I think there were a couple of missed opportunities. I think there were I think Branch could have had an interception. I think there was a couple of times the Ravens got off the field or got first downs and we couldn't get off the field. That was, I don't know, not really disappointing to say, but I think that I will say this. If this is who the Detroit Lions are, particularly defensively, it's about to be a long season for the rest of the league. I think Kansas City maybe has taken a step back. I am not afraid of Philadelphia is good. They find ways to win, and they're the world champs. I have not disrespected Philly once, but somebody mentioned the triple option, I guess is what it's called, Bear. I don't know, the 3 where Laporta, Gibbs, and Montgomery are all lined up in the backfield. I thought that was cool. I like John Morton as a play caller. I think you look at the Green Bay game, and that was everybody. I actually am of the opinion now that was simply they didn't play any preseason games. And they talked about communication. But the young guards played well today. They ran for 220-something yards. The whole offensive line played well today. If this is who they are, they can go on the road to Baltimore. And you guys can tell me if I'm out of line. We know who the best team was on the field for the bulk of the game. Early, Baltimore was doing some of the things, but there came a point where the Lions imposed their will. I contend it was 18 plays, 92 yards, and 10 plus minutes. To me, as much as the fumble was the biggest play of the game, the turning point of the game happened in the second quarter. Maybe it was in the first quarter. I don't even know. When you do that, I use the term impose your will. That was the moment when I said, okay, we can kind of do what we want, because Gibbs and Montgomery were gashing them for 7, 8, 10 yards. And you knew at some point in time, you can wear a team down that way. Not just physically. You wear them down mentally. To me, that was the most important time period of the game. I'll put it that way. Play of the game is Hutch and the strip fumble, obviously. But that was the most time period. But well, I don't know. Montgomery's 72-yard run was pretty damn big. I don't know. So there was a lot of interesting plays. There was a really bad call against Brian Branch. I'm going to learn what that rule is. I might bring it up next week if I understand that rule correctly, because I'm not going to sit there and act like I know that rule. It looked like to me he was falling. His body went low, and it's called a low block. As I understand that rule, that's a bad call. I don't know what they said on TV because I listened to the game on the radio. I saw them showing replays, so I don't know what the TV. They usually have a ref or somebody on TV. I wonder what that dude said. Hey, if you guys know, let me know what they said. I think that was a horrible call, but I don't know it, right? The fumble was huge, but then I think that drive got killed with a Christian Mahogany face mask. So there was opportunities that were left out there. I think they got a field goal to push the lead back to 7 after that. So as a game, honestly, guys, what I see is a team that is really talented and still hasn't even played a perfect game yet. Still hasn't played a great game yet. They played great in spots in both of the last 2 weeks. but I contend they left 10 to 14 points last week. I contend they left 14 to 17 points out this week. They actually can get better. Okay. All right. Good. All right. So it sounds like the refs and somebody agrees that was a bad call. I would like to hear more about that though. But I'm just gonna do a couple questions because it's late and the fellas are supporting me. I appreciate y'all, but hell, all of us got to go to bed. So I'm just gonna take three quick ones. All right, we got three. All right, first one. Simply put, how big was this win? Well, I'm gonna be cliche and say it's a big win because it's the game we played today. But seriously, it's huge, right? It's in Baltimore. Baltimore, before the season started, a lot of people said they were the best team in football. And even after the Buffalo loss, people said they were one of the 2 or 3 best teams in all of football. And I didn't disagree. I think, though, that at the end of the day, when you go on the road in prime time and you beat one of the best teams in the league, yeah, I mean, you got to call it big. When you sack Lamar 7 times, a dude people routinely say can win the MVP or this is his year. Like literally nobody on the 4-letter picked him. I mean, the game was on the 4-letter, so I watched some of the pregame. Nobody, even guys who kind of like the Lions, didn't pick him. Didn't pick him. I think that it's too early to start talking about Shep in that way, but he dialed up pressure. He did, and I love Aaron Glenn, unlike my friend Art, who doesn't love Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn's gone now, right? Our big thing about Aaron Glenn, and I think we were aligned, is I felt like Aaron Glenn struggled to scheme up pressure. Now, if Aaron Glenn were sitting next to me here, he would say, well, once Hutch went down, how the hell did you expect me to scheme up pressure? And he wouldn't be wrong. But Shep found a way, because even when they didn't get to Lamar, there was a period of time where Lamar was just running for his life. And he made plays because he's Lamar and because Terrion Arnold is Terrion Arnold and dudes somehow were coming wide open. But I think that when your star plays like a star, and I mean Hutch, because I know he got there at least once and he had the fumble. He might have got there twice. He had the one where he jumped on his back. I think he only got one. I don't know. You guys can tell me. When your star plays like a star, when you've got guys like Muhammad playing like he played, when you can scheme up pressure the way Shep did, if this is the Detroit Lions defense, yeah, I'm willing to say some crazy shit right now. I'm at a point where I'm like, yeah, this team can go into Kansas City and win. This team can go into Cincinnati and win. This team can win 12, 13 games, 14 games. If I look at this was supposed to be the toughest game on the schedule. And I don't feel like they blew them out, but I felt like they imposed their will. I feel like when 16 is right and your defense plays like this, we're going to be a tough team to beat. I don't care where the game is played. It doesn't matter. Prime time, 12 o'clock noon on Sunday. The Lions just don't care. They don't care. And that is, can we finally say fuck Ben Johnson? I mean, I said it a month ago, and I'll say it again. And nothing, that's not even personal, right? That is saying, I have consistently said this is Dan Campbell's team. This is Dan Campbell's offense. It is the culture. It is the culture. And yeah, I'm hyped. The game just ended. They just won a big game on Monday night against one of the best teams in the league on the road. But I take all that out and set it aside. Anybody listening, please tell me why this team can't play with anybody, no matter where the game is played. What did you see tonight that I didn't? Because I saw a team that played a A-, maybe an A game, but literally left 10, 14, maybe 17 points on the field and comfortably won. That last touchdown helped somebody, maybe on an over-under, maybe somebody's parlay. That game from about early third quarter on wasn't very competitive. I think the Lions were clearly the better team. So if you tell me they're clearly better than Baltimore after going on the road and beating them, who is the team that we should be scared of? That's so back to your question. How big is the win? It's huge. Massive win, right? Because it was on the road, because it was against a really good team, because we shut down a quarterback that runs, which we historically have struggled with. To Art's point, we still didn't stop a tight end. There's another tight end that got away from us. But the biggest thing is we have a defense, guys. We have a defense that might be a problem. I was never worried about the offense. There's too many good players on offense. Whatever you want to say about 16, I've done my quarterback rankings before. Jake and I did it at the coffee machine today, right? It's the 5 guys up top who are still Mahomes, Lamar, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow when he's healthy. And in my opinion, Jalen Hurts has earned his way into that 5. I put those 5 in a group. And then there's a second group. Justin Herbert's in that second group. A healthy Matthew Stafford might be in that second group. I'm not a Jordan Love guy. He might be in that group, but I know damn well Jared Goff's in that group. And all you're seeing is a dude who just executes. And he thinks he knows where to go with the football. He makes throws when he needs to. That 4th down pass to St. Brown, that kind of pressure, that moment in the game, that was a perfectly thrown ball. The touchdown, perfectly thrown ball. All the excuses go out the window. To me, I don't care about the schedule anymore. I don't even want to hear Ben Johnson's name anymore. And whether it's scheme or just that Al-Qadim Muhammad's in the right place at the right time, I think we got a pass rush opposite Hutch. If this is our defense, because we know what our offense is, this is a really good football team. All right. 2 more questions. What do you think the media will do with this? That's a great question. You guys know my hatred of the 4-letter. My guess is because they are who they are, now we're going to be the darlings, which I don't think we care about. I don't even play. I didn't catch a pass tonight. I don't think the Detroit Lions care about it. I think they have a culture, and I still give it to that little lady, right? Sheila has built something special, and I don't care what you think about the Ford family. Sheila is responsible for all of this. But Brad Holmes drafts and signs certain kinds of players, and Dan Campbell makes sure they fit, and he hires certain kinds of coaches. Kelvin Shepard might be a really good coordinator, man. Something about this dude feels right to me. And John Morton has a talent on the offense where, Gibbs is the guy, but then Demo just reminds me that, hey, man, don't sleep on me, because I sometimes sleep on Demo. I figure like he's that dude who'll get 12 touches and get you 80 yards and a couple of tough touchdowns, and that's what we need. And then he does what he does tonight. I think he went over $150 and just made big plays. The Lions were borderline dominant at times today. So some people locally, you're gonna get Baltimore didn't play well. You're gonna get some of that. Like, it's really about how well Baltimore didn't play, which I think is bullshit, by the way. Sorry. It's late. I can cuss this late. Nobody's awake anyway. It's only my boys here. So no, Baltimore's a really good team. And the Lions went in and kind of handled them in their own place, right? Some people will be on the other end of that spectrum, like me. Which is really against everything that I am after 3 data points. I don't know why we can't suggest they're the best team in the league. I don't know why anyone who's foolish enough to talk about the Super Bowl in week 4 doesn't mention the Lions. I'm trying to resist it, but it's 45 minutes after the game ended, and I was really impressed with them in every facet of the game, except for TA and the inability to cover tight ends. That's the best I've got to badmouth them. So I think the national media is going to love this, right? Tomorrow they're going to be the darlings in the morning, and there are people who do love them over there. But everybody on that network, well, most everybody on that network picked Baltimore. So there might be some crow eating, but the only thing I'm going to not like is the people who try and diminish it by saying the Ravens made mistakes or the Ravens didn't play well. The Ravens were playing really well in the first half. I think they got after Lamar. They started getting him off his spot. I'm not saying they confused him. I think we just took away some stuff. And then the Henry fumble. No. The 18-play drive psychologically, it's like if you watch boxing and it's an even matchup and guys are going back and forth for a few rounds, and then one guy lands a big shot. Doesn't knock the guy out, but lands a big shot, and the guy's stunned. That guy's now just trying to figure out what to do. He's trying to, and I think from that moment on, the Ravens were able to execute some stuff strictly on the strength of Lamar's talent, but they were on their heels from there on. From then on, I think the Lions were clearly the better team. So some people are trying to diminish it, and that's all good. For me, it's simple. I think the Lions are the most talented team in the league, top to bottom, both sides of the ball. Now the Eagles might be better at quarterback, might be better at running back. You know what? I can't disrespect the Eagles. I won't do it. The Eagles are still the team to beat. All right, I'm going to calm down. They're the world champs. They're undefeated. Not going to disrespect the Eagles. I like where we are. I'm looking forward to week, I want to say 12. I don't know. Might be sooner. That's going to be a good game. But there's work to do. Now we've got to get some rest and beat Cleveland. Everybody seems healthy. If Jared Goff plays like this and the defense plays like this, it's going to be a fun season. All right, one more. Who was the key player of the game? Well, what? Wow, there's too many. There's no one key player. I don't know how to do that. I will say to you what I recall top of my head. I will just go from there. I don't know how to choose. So I think Al-Qadim Muhammad made an impact on the game. I think he had 2.5 sacks and a couple of tackles. I think Hutch played well, a forced fumble, a sack. Amon-Ra just does what he does. It is weird to me how unstoppable that dude is. I mean, I don't know what teams do in the meeting room on Wednesday. And they say, you know, what's the game plan for 14? Because whatever the hell they try never works. He gets open and he catches the football. That's it. That's all he does. He gets open and sometimes he runs, sometimes he flea flickers, sometimes he pitches it out to Jameer. 7 catches, 77 yards, and a touchdown. Just a standard St. Brown day. Jameer actually was the workhorse. 22 carries, 67 yards, 2 touchdowns. That would be great if not for the fact that David Montgomery decided to take his 12 carries and bust out $150 and 2 touchdowns. And I haven't even mentioned the quarterback. I haven't even talked about 20 for 28, 202 and a touchdown. That doesn't sound like a big deal. Problem is this. The way that Jared Goff executes, I should have got the third down stats and I didn't. Because the thing I'm most impressed about is that when you need a play, that 4th down throw, if you can go back and look at that, that's the one. The touchdown was even better, though. The touchdown to St. Brown on the wheel route, I think it was a wheel route, was impressive. But that 4th down throw was borderline flawless. He had an early 3rd down conversion on the 18-play drive to Laporta. The only place it could be. He made the throw. I don't know. I'm not going to do the whole put some respect on Jared Goff's name. I really want to. But after saying all of that, Al-Qadim Muhammad, Aiden Hutchinson, St. Brown, Ja, Demo, Gibbs. Actually, if I can call them one player, the O-line gets it, right? If you're giving out some award, the old Morton called a great game. Shep's name deserves to be in there. I think the kicker would have made that record-setting field goal if it was straight, by the way. At the end of the day, the offensive line gave up exactly 0 sacks. And they 224 yards rushing and 0 sacks. The answer to the question is the offensive line. And if that thing is still right, and that defense is what it looked like, and our quarterback plays the way he played, I'm sorry, guys. Somebody's got to talk me off the ledge. Somebody's going to have to talk me off the ledge. I need to go to bed. I need to go to bed because I'm too excited about this team and this game. I told my friend Jake this morning, I would like them to win, but I really want them to play well. And he laughed and said, I'd like them to win. Yeah. I'm pretty excited because as well as they played, they actually can play better. That's the scary part. This wasn't a perfect game. Last week wasn't a perfect game. And after we get through the gauntlet, the back end of the schedule has got some cupcakes. This was supposed to be a loss. When I said they were 13-4, this was one of the 4. I had them 1-2 right now. And I don't believe Green Bay is Well, Green Bay, I don't think was good week 1. I think if you play a good game and your opponent plays horribly, it can look worse. I don't think anybody cares about that game anymore. I don't think anybody believes that game represents anything. And that's what I said on the podcast after the Packer game. I believe my statement was, I don't know how good Green Bay might be, but I know the Detroit Lions are better than that. That's what I said. That's how I felt. And they took the lap. I mean, it was just like 10 or 12 days ago. There were dudes calling the radio station saying the Lions aren't going to make the playoffs. They're 7-10 team. Dude called in and said they were 7-10. Said they were going to go 7-10. We weren't going to make the playoffs. You're about to start hearing people say they're the best team in the league again. And I don't know if they're right. But I'm not sure if they're wrong. This was what I wanted. I wanted them to play well. I wanted them to impose their will. As great as the throws to St. Brown was, as great as Montgomery's 72-yarder or the late run, it's as good as all that stuff was. That 18-play drive, that's a statement. That's a statement. And I think I text that to the guys. That's a statement. Yep. We are a running team. That's who we are. And when we can run like that, Jared Goff's really good. And we didn't run well against the Packers. And I think that was reflected in Goff's numbers and in the loss. So I'm going to close it out finally by saying, I think Cleveland's defense is probably good. I think yesterday's game is equal reflection of Cleveland's defense is good, but the Packers were not as good as we thought they were. I'll save them for Thanksgiving. Packers weren't as good as we thought they were. We played horribly week 1 and made them look good. Then they came back and beat the Commanders. I mean, they better go beat Dallas. They better go win in Dallas, because if they – I almost dropped a good one there. If they mess around and lose in Dallas, then we're going to really know who they are. And a lot of this might not matter. I'm not worried about the Vikings because I saw what they were or what they are. And their quarterback's not right. I don't know. I'm not going to do the whole thing. The Bears, we already took care of the Bears. So I got no reason to believe right now we're not clearly the best team in the North. I have no reason to believe right now that we can't play Philly straight up. We're going to go there. I think it's in early November. And if the NFC Championship game is in Detroit, it's going to be tough. So right now, we just need to go play. I made a statement 2 years ago. No, one game last year. One of the podcasts last year. I'm going to close it out with this. And I told my friend Jake this morning. The Detroit Lions have the same opponent every week. They play the same team every week. It's the Detroit Lions. There is a standard of what they can be when they execute, when they play well, when they run, when they play to the best of their ability. They can beat anybody anywhere. I think we saw some of that tonight, and they didn't even play a perfect game tonight. This is a really good football team. This podcast is going to be fun. I wish it wasn't midnight and I'd have to go to bed, but I do, and so do you. Fellas, I appreciate y'all. Y'all know who y'all are, supporting your brother. I really do appreciate it. It was fun tonight, though. Tonight was fun. Everybody have a good night. We will see y'all next week after Cleveland. All right. Peace.